So huge day for England then, and for batsman Joe Root, who answered his critics with a spellbinding unbeaten innings. Earlier, I spoke to our chief cricket writer, Stephan Shemilt, who said Shahid Bashir's performance with the ball will also be something to remember, given he's just 20 years old.
Bashir was a bit of a left field pick for this tour from an England point of view. He played only 6 first-class matches for Somerset, was even playing club cricket as recently as last summer, came on the tour, made his test debut in the second test in Visakhapatnam, left out for the third, but back for this fourth test and bowled a wonderful spell. At one point, 31 consecutive overs. He started bowling before lunch and was still going right up to the close. 4 for 84, a really wonderful opportunity for England to win this fourth test and set up what would be a really delicious fifth test decider in Dharamshala.
And Stephan, what of Joe Root's renaissance as well? You know, we've heard him talking today about his performances in the previous tests and a magnificent century for him, inspiring England to their total.
Yeah, when you consider that England were 112 for 5 at lunch on the first day, and Root cajoled more than 200 runs out of the final 5 wickets in such difficult conditions as well. His defence was immaculate. He put away some of the shots that have been getting him into trouble across this series. He'd gone 6 innings without a half century, but responded with his 31st Test ton. And whether or not Root had changed his approach because of the criticism that he and England took after losing the third test, everyone will remember that Jasprit Bumrah dismissal when Root was trying to play the reverse scoop. Whether or not Root had taken that in, or he was simply just playing the conditions and the match situation, we'll never know. But he certainly responded with an innings that we know he can play in the style that we often think is best suited to Joe Root. And after play, he had a lot to say. He was very adamant in the defence of some of the ways that England go about their batting under Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum.
Bazball's a word that's used a lot, but that's your word. That's not how we look at it. It's like, how can we get the best out of each other as a team? And how are we going to keep trying to get better as a group? And we're not always going to get it right. But we'll continue to keep trying to improve. The reason I played as many games as I have is because I've not wanted to stand still as a player. I've got to try and keep evolving. If you just keep playing the same way over and over again, teams work you out, they figure you out.
And just finally, Stephan, India very much not out of this test in many ways. What do England need to do to see this one through and win this one and put themselves properly back in this series?
Very simple for England. Take those last 3 wickets as quickly as possible on the third morning. They'll have the second new ball available pretty early on Sunday, and then build their lead. Try and get to a stage where India cannot chase a 4th innings total. The pitch will come into the conversation. We saw how spicy it was on the first morning. There were times when it settled down on the first day and again on the second day. But Bashir and Tom Hartley were just starting to find some signs of uneven bounce, particularly the ball keeping low. Any sort of moderate to large total that England can set India for that 4th innings, you would think that they are in the box seat to level the series at 2-2.